And good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Uh, Thank you for being here with me. I got a Thursday night live broadcast for you, Thanksgiving edition, and I'm going to talk about something that full disclosure, I really don't like talking about. Let me switch over and invite Instagram into the chat because I'm using a streaming service. So, this is something that I don't really love to talk about because I think it's overdone and I want to normalize behavior, not sort of isolate it. You'll see my colleagues and friends and industry peers and leaders talk about not sabotaging yourself on the weekend. That happens a lot on social media, but you also hear people talking about the holidays, how to not lose all your progress during the holidays. My first take on that is that if you lose all your progress during the holidays, you didn't have any progress. It's like being a mother and going out of town for a weekend. You come back and your kids don't know you. Like nothing works like that. It's hyperbole to to create content, really. But what I am going to talk about today, I'm gonna dive into it a little bit because I want you to have some strategies. Look, the holidays can be confusing. The holidays during midlife can be really confusing, and I want to talk about a few key things, some earmuffs for the kids listening, some simple shit, some basic shit you can use to keep you out of the holiday trap. So the opposite of what Young Jeezy said, I don't want you to meet me at the trap because it's going down. So let's talk first about how holidays might be different when you're in midlife. Um, First things first, you got a lower recovery capacity. And I talked about that on a few of the previous lives, ladies. Your body just doesn't recover as quickly as it used to. And we've all gotten older. I just got up from a 2 hour nap on my own couch on Thanksgiving. I'm Most of you, I realize you don't know me personally, but I'm a person who would never go to sleep during the course of the day unless I was sick, really. I've never been the type of person that like crashes in the middle of the day. It's not my jam. And I'll talk a good talk about a nap, but I won't really ever take a nap. Again, unless I'm sick. If I'm sick, I'll crash out, no question. But your capacity for recovery is lower. So let me talk about how that might show up for you. Overly fatigued by the driving, by the flying, by the bus trip, by you name it, uh, packing and unpacking and staying in a hotel room or staying in your family's basement, trying to negotiate around things that aren't necessarily normal for you or comfortable for you because you're in somebody else's environment, not to mention any preparation that you're going to help with the cooking, cleaning, or just helping generally for probably about five Thanksgivings. I visit my family in New Jersey, even though I'm from North Carolina. My aunt lives in New Jersey, my mother's sister, and my uncle and I would. So for about five of those Thanksgivings, I would walk through the door. Somebody would come pick me up at the airport. Shout out to Newark. You vastly improved your airport. It used to be a pigsty, and it's like a Taj Mahal of airports now. But somebody would, you know, come pick me up. I get in the door with my luggage, and my my first cousin Kevin, sometimes he would just yell muscles, right? He would just yell that out, and I knew I had a task to perform that day. I helped him drop a toilet in one year. One year I flooded his basement with Blue Lagoon water because he had a pump issue or something, and I spilled the entire bucket in his basement. Um, to which his wife said, "Did you actually get any water in the industrial sink? Because it looks like all the water is on the floor." But so those things fatigue. You're helping your family. You're fatigued. You don't recover as well, and that can make you a little snacky because your recovery is not good, but also that can take a toll on your body's ability, if this is your choice, to burn fat and maintain muscle. Like, recovery kills all that. Like, when your recovery is too slow, when your recovery's off, your results are off. I used the cake analogy yesterday or Tuesday. I'm not going to go back to that. The second thing you want to consider is, I got my notes here, so stay with me. You've got a higher stress load, right? And that's the stress of being where you need to be, helping who you need to help. That one auntie who is going to say, "Oh, your hips getting wide, baby," like all that stress, and that gets induced during the holidays. And as you find yourself having a more difficult time recovering from activity, you also are less tolerant to stress, ladies, because the estrogen that may be fluctuating or dissipating is a stress buffer. So you don't receive stress as gracefully as you once did. And maybe you don't tolerate auntie's mouth as well as you once did. That's going to take a toll on you during the course of the holidays. These are, I'm going to use an old term, these are part and parcel to why you get home and you feel exhausted. Like, your Thanksgiving vacation isn't very vacation to you. This is why, as a 51-year-old man, you fall asleep on your own couch at around 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So the third thing I want to talk about that is differentiated because of your current body, your midlife body, the new version of you, and that's going to be, you have more sensitivity to under eating. For a lot of people, quite a few people use the strategy during the holidays of not eating very much all day and then waiting for the feast to happen. The what time are we eating? I'm going to save up until the food comes out, or we have dinner. And I used to be the master of that strategy, right? I would not, I remember my older brother and I, we would not eat all day so we could crush when the feasting started. Your midlife body can't really tolerate that very well. Underfueling is a big issue in midlife. It can lead to something called low energy availability. You can look that terminology up. It's a real term. I didn't make it up for the purpose of this live video. Low energy availability can show up as excessive irritability. And I know that sounds stupid to say to anybody that's working through the menopausal spectrum, because, you know, your husband's chewing can cause irritability in the menopausal spectrum, but increased irritability. You also find situations where you sort of bonk out during your exercise routine when you're experiencing low energy availability. In addition to that, slight, annoying, repetitive injuries. In low energy availability, we see a lot of joint issues happening, but we also see things like stress fractures, pulled muscles. A lot of that happens during low energy availability. And LEA, low energy availability, is really the simple act of not having enough fuel for the demand you place on your body. You're asking it to do more than what you fed it to do. You put a quarter tank of gas in the gas tank and you're trying to drive from North Carolina to California. Guess where your car is going? Guess where your vehicle is going to end up? On the side of the road. That's low energy availability. So underfueling isn't great around the holidays. And when you combine the fact that you've got usually high calorie dense, hyper palatable food. I'm thinking about sweet potato pie right now. Like, literally, I was thinking, man, I can have some pie after this. So you've got high calorie, hyper palatable food. This shit tastes amazing. And then you starve yourself. It's not a combination for success. It's a combination for disaster. And then you have more fatigue around decision making during the holidays, right? You just don't make great decisions. It's a lot of I don't know, and I guess because you've made so many decisions during the holidays: when to travel, what mode of travel, who to stay with, how long to stay with, if you're gonna speak to auntie or not that year. Because some of y'all got stressful aunts. I don't. My aunts are amazing. God bless them and God rest your soul, some of them. But so there's a lot of decisions being made, and decision fatigue can really creep in. But let's move this along, because the holiday season, it adds stress, it adds fatigue, it adds cravings, it adds poor decision making, it adds reduced recovery, less sleep, more food availability. It's it's not something that's going to ruin all your progress. I believe in science too much to tell somebody that two holiday feasts on back to back days is going to ruin all their progress. Like I said, if that does, you didn't have any progress. But I do understand the stress involved going into it for some people. The stress that's the stress that is projected at you by people around your circle, the stress is projected at you maybe from your coach, right? Because now we're affecting 2 or 3 weeks of the month because of the stress leading up to what you think is going to be a cataclysmic event where you ruin everything that you've done up to that point, and it's really not that serious. However, I want to move on because I want to give you some tips. Tip number one: fuel, don't restrict, right? Don't not eat all day. That don't even make sense. Like, don't not eat all day. You need to be fueled for the things that you're doing, because if you're doing a lot of this travel, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I'm somebody that doesn't like to eat or drink when they fly, but that's because I don't want to go into that biohazard closet on that plane, because I get queasy just thinking about being in that little toilet closet thing. But don't not eat. You're going to do a lot of activity. You're moving your bags around. You're trying to get to and from the airport or through the airport. Support your family once you get to where you're going, or prepare for them because they're coming to you. And under fueling to do all that stuff, one thing that it does is it can compromise your muscle. And when you compromise your muscle, you slow down your metabolism. Now, you won't do that in a weekend, but as a habitual way of thinking about regulating your food under fueling is a catalyst to muscle loss, increased stress hormones, maybe specifically cortisol, but not limited to cortisol. Increased stress hormone is also a gateway to making poor decisions, because when your body's not well fed, your brain's not well fed, you make bad decisions. It's also a gateway to binging, right? And you're setting yourself up for maybe an interaction with behaviors that you're trying to reduce in your life. Under fueling just adds to that. The next thing that I want you to think about is getting protein and fiber, stabilize your appetite. What we know as personal trainers, some of us as nutrition coaches, for me especially, what I know from having different levels of nutrition coaching certification is that when your blood sugar is unbalanced, you go on appetite roller coasters. Your appetite's up. That's when the cravings start. That's when you make maybe spur of the moment decisions based on what your body's telling you or insisting on, instead of making decisions based on what your intention is for your relationship with food. So, getting some protein and some fiber, which will come through your plants. For some of you, your protein comes through plant-based because you're vegan. Fiber and protein help to regulate your blood sugar. That means that your appetite's not up and down all the time. So getting some protein, getting some plant-based foods. Yes, that could be fruit. No, fruit doesn't make people fat. It's the dumb earmuffs again. Bad words. The dumbest shit that I hear on a regular basis is don't eat fruit because it'll make you gain weight because of the sugar. It also has fiber. Also, you failed science in 8th grade. You're an idiot. Not you specifically, but someone who says that fruit is unhealthy has a book to sell or a podcast to present or some other such nonsense. So protein and fiber is going to be important for you. Get that during the course of each day. It'll help regulate your blood sugar. because your blood sugar regulation does get thrown off during the menopause spectrum because estrogen helps to regulate that. So give yourself a little extra help. Get some protein with each meal. Try to get some fiber with each meal. You'll be able to negotiate cravings better. The next thing I want you to do is, you know, if you want to stave off late night cravings, eat enough earlier. Now, this sounds really simple, but let me tell you, the unbelievable percentage of women that I've worked with who tell me I can't stop eating at night or those cravings hit so hard at night. What do I do about cravings? And the first question I'll ask is, what's breakfast like for you? Oh, I fast in the morning. And then I'll say, how soon after you get to work do you have you have your like your first meal or snack? And they'll say, oh, I just maybe 2 or 3 coffees in the morning. And I'll say, what do you eat for lunch? Well, whatever I've got around the desk, or sometimes we go to the local pizza. And then I'll say, and your challenge is that you feel like you have cravings at night. And they'll say yes. And I'll always say the same thing. You hungry, sis? What can I do about these cravings? Eat earlier in the day. Not 6 bags of Cheetos, but earlier in the day, get some protein, some carbohydrates. That could look like, I don't know, it could look like putting some protein powder in your morning drink, right? Maybe a little scoop of protein in your, half a scoop protein in your coffee, in your cocoa. I've never tried protein in tea. It's making my stomach churn thinking about it. I don't advise it. Or it may look like some yogurt. Yes, yogurt has fat in it. I get that. But some yogurt and some apple slices or some blueberries, you're getting a little bit of protein and a little bit of carbohydrate early in the morning, and you're fueling your body so that it can regulate your blood sugar until you make it to the next meal, because you're thinking costs calories. You're pissed off at work, being pissed off costs calories. You're working, that costs calories. Like everything that your body does is paid for in calories. So if your method of staying healthy is to never deposit any of the funds that are used to pay for your activity, then you end up overdrawn, right? And people are walking around overdrawn. And then at the end of the night, when they sit and are no longer distracted and they don't have a million other things going on, guess what they notice? They notice their body screaming at them for some calories. Feed me. It's like Little Shop of Horrors. Feed me, Seymour, and feed me all night long. So you want to make sure that you are getting proper fuel. And if you're dealing with a lot of cravings, learn to fuel your body earlier in the day. Works like gangbusters. Like it works like magic. I'm hungry. What should I do? Eat is usually my reply. And I get eyes rolled at me when I say that. So also another strategy is look at the minimum effective dose. And that's for exercise. We talk about the minimum effective dose usually in the context of medication. I've got a headache. I may look on the back of the Aleve bottle and it'll say take 1 pill, which equals 200 milligrams. Well, if I got a headache and I take 8 Aleve pills, I'm probably going to be sick. Medicine typically advises us to use the minimum effective dose. For most of you, the minimum effective dose of exercise is about 30 minutes. 30 minutes, and if we're looking at strength training. And it differs for everybody. This is just an example. Don't go to your trainer tomorrow and say, Ren said we have to cut this workout in half because it's an hour and I should only do 30 minutes. That's not what I'm saying. Like Eddie Murphy said, don't go home and mess up all my jokes. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's okay to default to something that doesn't overstress the body. Doesn't have to be an hour and a half, 2 hours in the gym. If you work with the minimum effective dose, when you're in situations like this, what will typically happen is you'll have a shorter training session. You won't feel quite as hungry when you get done with your session, I'm not telling you to not eat after you do strength training. Ren said I shouldn't be hungry. That's not what I'm saying. You're messing up my jokes again. What I'm saying is the minimum effective dose will not fatigue you to the point where you feel ravenous. It won't fatigue you to the point where you can't move the next day or the next 2 days, because that's not good. We don't want to decrease your non-exercise activity. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT, the calories that you burn when you're just doing daily things. We need that. This is why when I hear people brag about how they were sore for 2 days, I know they're working with a bullshit trainer, because the idea is not to sit you on the couch because your ass hurts so bad you can't go poop. The idea is to give you enough exercise that you feel invigorated, but you're still able to move on non-exercise days and get that non-exercise activity. That's the idea. So the minimum effective dose of exercise, 10 to 30-minute lifts. What other notes do I have here? Strength over cardio, if you have to choose. One's not better than the other. I'm not just, again, Rand told me not to do cardio. It's not what I'm saying. But if you got to choose, and if you gotta minimize the amount of time that you're spending exercise, choose strength over cardio. It will benefit you more if that's all you have a choice of. You only have that amount of time, once or twice during holiday, then choose the strength. It'll go a little bit further. If you choose cardio, it's absolutely not wrong. I'm just talking about what's probably optimal for you, particularly in midlife. Um, you know, redefine your holiday wins, right? Sometimes we talk about, and my colleague Amber Reynolds used this terminology, BAM, bare ass minimum. Think about your bare ass minimums going into the holiday situation. Okay, minimum, I can drink 2 glasses of water or 2 bottles of water a day. Okay, minimum, I can walk around grandma's house, walk around grandma's neighborhood 2 mornings. I can get up early 2 mornings. I'll be there 5 days. 2 mornings, I'll get up and I'll walk around her neighborhood before things really get started. Although your grandmama will have been up for 6 hours when you get up at 8. But minimum, the bare ass minimums. Go in with a thought process about that. Have a plan, so you can defy those that consistency over perfection. The third tip I want to talk about here is choosing some enjoyable boundaries. Boundaries aren't rules, but boundaries are systems that are put in place so that we have a fail safe, a security system for all the things that might induce stress, or all the things that may cause us to act against our intention for our own health. One of my favorites at the holiday time is, this holiday, I'd really like to refrain from any commentary about my physical body, right? I'm working on it, but I'm not willing to entertain any conversation about it. These are boundaries that you have to set. Over the course of the next few days, I'm going to be going to bed at 9:30. I need that sleep time, because when I don't sleep well, I find myself several days down the line having night sweats and hot flushes, and I don't enjoy that. So I can't play one more round of Pictionary. I can't stay up and tell one more story. I can't join the family talent show if it starts at 10. I'm going to be going to bed, not because I don't love you guys, but because that's what's best for me, so I can really be my full self here and really enjoy the holidays with my family. Hope you guys understand, like, setting boundaries is probably one of the premier habits, generally speaking, in midlife. If you're trying to operate in a way that gets you to whatever your intended goals for your health and fitness level are. So many women at this time of life don't have any boundaries, right? You're doing something, the phone rings, you're off to the phone. You're doing something, you hear, like, it's just, you have to have set specifics for your life that lead you to the places that you want to go. And the people that love and care for you will understand that, or they won't. And if they don't, well, sugar honey iced tea, right? It's their problem. So consider your boundaries. Know what your yes foods are and your no foods. Now, in precision nutrition, I was taught to think of this as red light food, yellow light food, and green light food, because nothing's off limits. You're not restricted from having any food that you want to have. We just want you to be mindful of it. And I'll give you an example. For me, a green light food is goldfish. I like goldfish, but for me, goldfish don't lead me to diving into the pack, right? I'll never put my hand in a box of goldfish to the extent that I'll put my hand in and there's nothing in there, right? It's a treat for me. I like it. Or apples, right? Of course, we can think about vegetables and fruits as green light foods, but for you specifically, for me specifically, goldfish, green light food is a snack. It's ultra processed. It's not necessarily healthy, but I don't need to eat them all. Donuts, on the other hand, red light food for me. As many donuts as I have in my vicinity is as many donuts as I'm going to eat that day, right? I'm not able to regulate donuts well. I'm from a city called Winston-Salem. It's in the state of North Carolina. And it also happens to be the home of Krispy Kreme donuts. That's where Krispy Kreme was invented. And I had Krispy Kreme donuts in my high school cafeteria. I had good day at school. My mom would take me to get a donut. Bad day at school, my mom would take me to get a donut, or my sister would. So Krispy Kreme, I was raised with it as a coping mechanism. Happy, sad donut, doesn't matter. Good day, bad day donut. So I regulate that food by not having, we used to be able to get the box, the 12 dozen box or the flat box. I never have that many donuts in my house, like never ever. You'll never catch a full box of donuts in my house. And if by some magic, some dark magic, they do find their way in the home, I'm typically going to have one or two and throw them away. Like I know. So setting your yes foods and no foods, your green light, red light, yellow light foods. I'm closing this thing down now. I hope this is helpful so far. So don't skip meals to save calories. It's stupid. Just get the calories in. Don't add cardio as punishment. Don't set unrealistic expectations, and don't abandon your strength training. It's your anchor. And the great thing about strength training, even if you're away from holidays, you don't have access to your gym, you don't have access to your equipment, a short workout of 3 sets of 10 body weight squats. Add to that 3 sets of 10 push-ups. Could be traditional, could be wall push-ups. Add to that 3 sets of 30-second planks. Add to that 3 sets of walking lunges, right? You've got about a 15, 20-minute workout, no equipment. All you need is floor and gravity. The gravity is provided for you. Hopefully, granny's got a floor, or auntie's got a floor, or your cousin's got a floor, or the Holiday Inn has a floor, and you're off to the races. So think about your holiday through the lens of those things. It's less stressful. And remember, strength training is really your anchor. If you're a woman in midlife, I would probably even conservatively say 35 plus, whether or not you entered into menopausal spectrum or not. Strength training is going to be your anchor. But it's time for me to pay the bills, because I'm currently enrolling for the winter version of my Strength to Success method, taking 7 women, only 7, who are 30, 35 and up, that want to really master their fitness, that want to reclaim the identity that they had when they felt a little bit more fit, right? Because you can lose your identity through these years, late 30s, 40s, and 50s. And for women who may want to shed a few pounds, drop 2 to 3 inches in their waist measurement, drop a dress size or 2. This is the midlife program for you. In addition to that, I've got Black Friday Black Friday features to the offer at this time of year. It's the only time I do this. So for anyone who enrolls in 3 months of the program, which is standard 12 weeks, you're going to get an additional month at no cost. If you enroll for 6 months, you're going to get an additional 2 months from me at no cost for more value. If you enroll for a year, you're going to get an additional 3 months added to your Strength to Success Method program. There are also two bonuses that each client gets. One is automatic, it's the orientation bonus. We take 1 week to orient you to the process, and that first week doesn't count as one of your 12 weeks. It's just to get you familiar with the software, the app I use, et cetera, so there's no stress. And then you get a choice of two bonuses. Like there are two other bonuses that you can choose from to add to that first one. The first one is the perfect plate bonus, where I'll send you pre-cooked frozen meals for the first 2 weeks to take food prep off of your table. We don't stay on that, and we don't have to count calories and track every little morsel. But just to get you started, this allows you to replace maybe one or two of the meals that you eat during the course of the day that aren't really serving you. For most people, it's lunch, it's breakfast or lunch, or breakfast and lunch. But send those to you, just heat them up and eat. The second bonus you can choose from is called the Choose Your Challenge bonus. And that's where each day that you have a workout, I create a 15-minute workout, a 30-minute workout, and a 60-minute workout for you to choose from. You don't do all three in a day, but based on your energy and capacity that day, because fatigue out of the blue is a big thing for women in midlife, you get to choose one of those three workouts each time you have a workout scheduled. So if you're low on energy or low on time, you have that. You have those extra workouts to choose from. That's $1,000 value in that bonus alone. In addition to the fact that I always put a guarantee on my programs. In any case, if that sounds like something that would help you during this season as we ramp up and go into the new year, if you don't want to be doing this same fitness shuffle next year and the year after that and the year after that, as most of you have been since probably 2000, then this is probably a program for you. DM me the word live, LIVE, and I'll ask you a few questions to see if my program is a good fit for your needs. Until tomorrow, let's keep it simple. And now I don't have to do it.